Hey guys, so it's me. I'm back with wrong show. I'm back with Love is Blind, season 3, episode 7, Impress the Parents. So this episode picks up again with Brennan talking to Alexis's dad. He's questioning him about his about his what's the word I want to say? His intentions for Alexis and all those things like that. So he makes sure to let him know, like, we come from a very affluent lifestyle. And she's basically high strung. She's used to living a certain kind of way. How do you plan to make sure she's happy and continues to be able to, like, how do you plan to provide for her? So that's when Brennan gets into the fact that he comes from a working class family, like, and he tells her dad, like, there were times that we didn't have heat in our house and stuff like that. So as an adult, I've been driven to make sure I never have to live like that again. So I can say that without a doubt that I will do all I can to keep her happy and to give her the things that she's accustomed to and used to. But I can't make any promises that it's going to happen. But I can, try. And like, I really, really love your daughter and I really want to do this. I really want this to work. And the dad asked him about his values and things like that. And he was just like, because this is like pretty fast the way you guys got together. And if she likes you, she loves you and she's doing this, she wants to do this, I'm going to support both of you guys. I'm going to give you my blessing because my daughter loves you and everything. And she says this is what she wants. But I just hope that, you live up to what she thinks that you can be. And so Brennan is basically like, I feel like we'll be good because we essentially, yes, we had two different lifestyles, two different upbringings, but I feel like Alexis, she has the capability to see where other people are coming from and kind of try to empathize or sympathize with them in their situation. And she doesn't come off as someone who judges another person because they didn't live the way that she did. So with those kinds of values, I think our relationship will be successful. And then the father mentions that she told me that you was willing to convert to Judaism. And he was like, yeah, he said, well, I got good news and bad news. And he picks up something from under the table. He opens it up. It's some knives and stuff for, like, I'm guessing, a chef set to cook with. And he pulls it out and Brennan is like laughing and stuff like that. And they seem to be good. And the dad has a confessional and he's just like, we are affluent and I'm curious to see where this can go because he sees it. He comes from a working class background, but again, I'll give her my blessing. I'll give them my blessing. And we'll just have to see. So we see Matt and Colleen there on their way over to his mom and stepdad's house. There's his siblings via marriage, and one of his friends is there. He introduces Colleen to everybody. They all speak. She hugs his mom and stuff. Um, they talk a little bit about their experience in the pods, and she Colleen even mentions that, like, we did have a little tip, so it has not been flying on this one level the whole time. We did have a tiff, and Matt was saying that it was over for him. He was out of it. But I had decided that I wanted to fight for it, and I'm going to do what I need to do. And so with that experience, it really made us grow closer. And Matt chimed in like, yeah, that made me know that, yeah, this is the woman I want to marry because he didn't want to go into the marriage with all great vibes and, good times because he knows marriage is hard and it needs to be worked on. So then we see um, Colleen and his mom. They head inside to the house and they have a conversation. And basically, the mom is like, this no, Colleen is assuring the mom that she really does love Matt. It's not just for the cameras. She would never do anything to hurt him intentionally or anything like that. The mom is overcome with emotion because she wants her son to have love and find love. And she said his eyes have like a light that he hadn't had for a minute now because he was upset about what happened in the first marriage and stuff. So Colleen was like, cool. She was like, but yeah, like I really I love him. And we're gonna forge ahead with having the wedding and everything. And I believe he loves me too, and it's gonna last. So the mom has like a confessional, and she's saying, I'm really concerned. I hope. She said, um, I really want this for the both of them, but I don't want him to be blindsided by her in any way, and I definitely don't want him to be blindsided by her. Did I say her the first time? She don't want either one of them to be blindsided. She's concerned for the both of them of being hurt by the other. She says she praying for them every day and stuff like that, but you know, marriage is not easy. It has its ups and downs, and she's not sure if this is actually going to work, but she's going to stick by her son and support them. So Cole takes Zay to his studio apartment, which is super messy. And how about the production? They made sure to zoom in on his toilet and the many nets that were inside the toilet swimming around in the dirty toilet water or whatever. But anyway, he shows her this baby time capsule. It looked like one of them. Remember when in school when they had the popcorn that you could sell and they come in that big old tin? It was one like that, but it said baby time capsule on it. And he was like, everything about my life is in this. About my upbringing as a kid, all the important information my family saved and put it in this. So just know that anything you need is in here that you need to know. So he opens it and they start to go through it, and after they go through it, him and Zay sit down to talk, and he discussed the fact that how he feels about the fact that the family is not supporting him in this experience and getting married, and the fact that they said they weren't going to come to the wedding. He was like, we all have our religion and everything, and I thought that you get when you delve into your religion, get into your spiritual life. He thought it was his impression that it would make you a more compassionate and loving person, and someone who tries to hear people out and see their way of life and stuff like that. He had no idea that it would make his family more self-righteous and basically judgmental about people and their decisions that they choose to make for their lives. Like, that's not what he believes religion should be. And he was like, so, you know, with that being said, I was wondering, Zay, like, if I can get them to at least talk to you and meet you off camera without the cameras, would you be willing to? And she was like, fine. I'm willing to meet them and talk to them. And I just hate it for you that their decision to not come is affecting you this way. Like, I would never want that for you. I would want your family to be on board and be there for you. Everybody wants their family there to celebrate with them as they, commit to another person, basically. And he's like, yeah, it's just, how did he say it? He didn't say it was ridiculous. And he didn't call it bullshit, but whatever it was a harsh word. And he even realized it himself. He said, I know it sounds harsh what I'm saying about them, but it's the truth, because their reasoning is basically, it just don't make sense. If you love me, you should support me in this. And I know you don't get this whole experience because it's super quick and super fast, but at least sit down and have a conversation and see how we are together and stuff. And it don't have to be on camera. And she's like, well, my family is going to be there, but I know that my family and their support is never going to compare to you having your own family and their support there with you through this. She said, but, and I'm not sure us even having a conversation. I'm down to meet them, but, basically, are they down to meet me and talk and meet me and stuff like that? Like, what do you think? So he said he's not going to allow their thoughts and their feelings, the thoughts of his family, deter him from actually going through with this. He made a decision, and as a man, he gonna stick by his decision, and he gonna go through with marrying Zach. Nancy and Bart are at their apartment, setting up a charcuterie board because his parents and his sister are on their way over to meet Nancy. Uh, they arrive, they come in, they all, exchange pleasantries and things of that nature. And they get down to it and talk about their time in the pods and all that kind of stuff. And I think Bartiz asked his mom and his sister, like, would you ever consider doing an experiment like this, like going to some pods to meet somebody and falling in love? And they give their responses and stuff. And he was like, she was the one for me. Like, we get along so great, and I really grown to love her. And the father chimes in with, but honestly, weren't you forced to? Because you couldn't leave. You couldn't just say you wanted to leave. So you had to choose somebody, or right? You had to just choose one of them. And Bart was like, no, not necessarily. I didn't have to do that. And honestly, it was other people that was there that I was having a connection with, but I chose to go with Nancy. And so the situation, not the situation, the subject of being attractive to your mate comes up, and Nancy goes and volunteers. Like, I know me and him have had a conversation where I'm typically not what he looks for in a woman as far as the looks. And the sister chimes in, well, wait, hold up. You are a very beautiful woman. So don't discount or discredit yourself and your looks, because you're beautiful. And as a matter of fact, I heard you was a hot commodity in the pods. I heard you got proposed to before my brother got to propose to you. So Nancy was like, yeah, I did. And I really like the sister. And also the father, he looks like Heavenly's husband, Dr. Damon, just a lighter version. But he favors Dr. Damon to me. But anyway, they go on to talk about that. And then they talk about what their lives would look like, and how they handle stuff, working through things, because marriage has its ups and downs. Everything's not perfect, as we all know. So they discuss that and some of the tips that they've had so far. So Bart brings up, the conversation they had about, like, what would you do if you were to get pregnant and be told that the child is going to have some kind of disability or illness or something to that effect. And that was a hard conversation for him and Nancy to have. It was hard for him because, excuse me, at this moment, Bart doesn't agree with Nancy's opinion on the matter. And her opinion is, if that happened with her, she would have a medical abortion. Like, she would have an abortion. And both the mom, dad, and the sister are like, oh, okay. And the sister gets emotional. She starts to cry and say that's a touchy subject for her. And she asks Nancy, how did she come to that decision? What makes her feel like that's the best option? Because his sister is saying, all life is precious. Everybody deserves to be born. And, whatever their life is going to be, that's just what it's going to be. So Nancy goes into, well, my day job, I'm a speech pathologist. And in that job, I've worked with all kids with all kinds of medical issues, different backgrounds. And working with those kids and seeing, especially the ones who have so many illnesses and medical issues, seeing how those medical issues that the kid has can affect the family and stuff like that. She's seen families being broke down by these medical issues, meaning that the parents were happy to go lucky at first, and then as time went on, the parents split up. Maybe they hit hard times and couldn't, it's just all kinds of things that she's seen. And because of that, she had made the decision that if she ever got pregnant and the doctors told her that the child had some kind of medical issue, she would abort and not go through full term with the pregnancy. And his mom listens, his sister listens, his dad listens. And they all was like, wow. Like, in their mind, they never looked at it from that perspective. Like, she got firsthand experience dealing with kids who had these issues and seeing them, their family lives and stuff like that. So she was like, his mom and his sister is kind of like, well, wow, like I never thought of it from that perspective, and honestly, I can see why you would feel like that. I can see why you made that decision for yourself. So Bart was like, yeah, so that right now, that's like the most difficult thing we have to get through, because Bart is of the belief like a kid is a blessing and you need to just have the kid no matter what, and we just have to deal with it as life comes, how, with whatever might be wrong with the child. And then we see him in confessional, and he's talking about it. He was like, I really, like, I was looking for my sister's approval of Nancy and everything. And even though I wanted my sister's approval, I know that ultimately the decision is mine on whether or not to continue this relationship and get married to Nancy and stuff like that. So, like, my opinion is the one, and my decision is based on my own opinion. But I did want Nancy to fit in with my family and really get along with my sister, because me and her were super close. And he was saying that, this disagreement and how to handle this particular kind of situation is giving him pause, basically, and he's saying that's like the most difficult thing thus far that they've had to kind of sort and work through, because I'm guessing he doesn't believe that that's a reason for an abortion, that he feels like you should have the baby. But they do have his mom's approval, like his mom, his sister, and his dad. The dad was kind of mum. He didn't really have a whole lot to say. But the mom basically gives her approval of Nancy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. SK and Raven head to some restaurant, bistro looking place, to meet up with two of her best friends that she's had since she was a little girl. She said that they're like sisters to her, and she expects them to be completely honest about their assessment of her relationship. Excuse me. So the friends, speak and greet them, speak with and greet them. And they just get right to it. And one of the friends, she's like, wow, like, from what I know about my friend and growing up with her, you physically are not what she would normally go for. First of all, she said, I would think that she would get with someone that's taller, into fitness and stuff like that. And SK is just like, oh, okay. She was like, and you're Nigerian. Like, she's biracial, but she was raised white. And then that's when Raven volunteers that she was raised in the dirty South, and she was raised around whites, and it's a lot of political and cultural ramifications that come with that. And I want to say that maybe she heard some racial slurs and stuff like that growing up, and had to internalize those things that were being said to her and around her about black folk and stuff like that, and black folk from other countries. And him meeting those family members is probably not going to be a pretty picture or whatever. So that's already proved to be, that's going to be a hurdle that they have to get over. So the friend says that also, with you being Nigerian, like, from what I know, Nigerians are very, very traditional. And she is not that kind of a woman. Like, from what I know, like, Nigerian men, they might be the type that they want their woman, they want to come home from work, and the woman has ironed his clothes for the week, has 8 meals ready, and all those things like that. And I'm just here to tell you, my friend is not a cook like that. I'm just going to let you know. And so Raven was like, well, I'm not a good cook. There's things that I know how to cook. I've seen Nigerian dishes and African dishes, And I know that I cannot cook on that type of level. So he volunteers, but I can cook though. And he basically tells them like the dynamics in their relationship. He's the kind of man that he wants an equal partner. So he doesn't necessarily believe in that traditional roles that most men want the women to have as far as the cooking and the cleaning and the maintaining the home and all those things like that. And he also mentions the fact that and honestly, they was like, well, the lifestyle, how you going to provide and, join your lives together. What would it look like in the future? Like, what is it that you want for your life, and how do you think that Raven is going to help you get those things? So that's when he delves into the fact that he's a student, that he has planned to go to grad school at Berkeley in California. So basically 2 months after they're married, he's going to be leaving to go to grad school. And that's going to it's a 2-year program. And the other friend steps up and says, you know what? No. I want my friend to be happy, and I think you're going to be robbing her of her fairy tale, because that's going to be 2 years of flying back and forth. And I'm not sure that that's going to work. Like, she's busy. She has her clients, and she has a big clientele for this Pilates. And it's going to be a lot to keep traveling back and forth to see each other, spend time with each other and stuff like that. And you're going to be leaving 2 months after y'all get married, so you won't really have a honeymoon phase. And then we get a confessional with the two friends, and the other friend is in agreement. Like, yeah, the main friend that says Raven will be robbed of the experience of a fairy tale. She also says, like, I'm just not buying it. He's just the other friend said, yeah, he's just like a yes man. He's like, yeah, yeah, this gonna work, this gonna work. And all I hear is yeses from him, but Raven do look like she has some concerns. And we don't think this is gonna work. I don't think it's not gonna last. They're not gonna stay together. It's too different, and what Raven wants, what they perceive Raven to want out of life, he's not going to be able to give, especially not at this point in their lives. We have we have Brennan and Alexis arriving at a ranch style home to meet his family, and they go in and have a toast. I'm going to have to pause right here and come back to you all, because it's something I got to do, and I'm running out of time sitting here watching this to make this review. So I'll be back later with the rest. All right, guys. So we're back, and we're at Brennan's parents' house. They sit around and talk about the experience with his parents and stuff, and then we see Brennan go with the stepdad and the brother to have a conversation, and Alexis goes with Brennan's mom to have a conversation. So the dad and the brother are just saying to Brennan stuff like, once y'all really talked and got to know each other, so what is this thing like? What is this experience about and stuff like that? And the dad says something like, because once you say I do, it's for real. And Brennan had to correct him and say, everything we've done up to this point, all of it, it's for real. I really love her, and I really want to try to make it work with her. He just kept reiterating how much he loved Alexis. So then we see Alexis talking to Brenna's mom, and Brenna's mom is just like, how was it for you guys? She was like, the way his dad raised him, meaning her husband, she was saying like, they're raised to not kiss on the first date. They're raised that, you talk and get to know one another, and when you get to the point of actually kissing a person, that's when it's real and all that, and it comes with a lot of emotion and everything. And so Alexa responded that, well, with them being in the pause, they did talk a whole lot before they actually got to see each other and to actually kiss and experience that emotion and stuff like that. His mom tells Alexis that Brennan, he loves very deeply and stuff like that, but he can get scared and he can run when he gets scared. And Alexis just left sitting there thinking. Oh, and so we see Bart at the computer working. Nancy walking back and forth. Then we get a confessional from Bart saying that things have been off the past few days since they had the meeting with his sister and his mother and dad. His sister isn't really feeling the whole dynamic between the two of them. I guess I read her wrong. And because the sister's not feeling it, he not feeling it. And he said he don't feel like an attraction to her no more or anything right now. And he don't want to keep putting a blanket over it. But they're going to have to eventually have a talk. We see Nancy have a confessional and says she feels like something's off. She feels the difference, but she's going to keep living her life and doing her. She's obviously hurt by it because she wants him to love her the way she loves him. But it's obviously some distance there. She said she had asked him for a hug. And he was like, why? You're so needy. And she was like, but he hadn't hugged me since the day before. And at first he would give like 4 forehead kisses in a day. And now it's barely 1 or 2 forehead kisses in a day. So she noticed it. And it's the way he just shrugged her off by saying, you're so needy, and tried to laugh it off like he was joking, but he was dead serious. So he's basically doing what he said that he normally does. After the in love and the good feelings dissipate, then he retreats and just basically gives up the ghost, puts up the peace sign, and bow on out. And that's exactly what he's doing at this moment. So, at this point, all the couples meet up. Is that a hole in my face? What the freak? So at this point, all the couples meet up for dinner at some bar or whatever. So they get there, they all greet each other, hug. The guys go on one side, the girls sit together. They bring up how things have been going so far and stuff. And that's when it comes out that Cole told Colleen she was beautiful and stuff like that. Zay was like, what? So Colleen was like, yeah, he told me I was very attractive. And honestly, I just was like, well, I think you're cute and you're attractive too. You know? She said, and I left it at that. And I went and told Matt the conversation and what Cole said to me, and it didn't go well at all. Matt blew up about it. So Zay's just like, wow, like, he said that to you? He really said that to you? Like, I'm not feeling that. Because, like, I'm not feeling that. Like, that wasn't right. And, they are pumping, I think Zay mentions that this is what's caused her, to be a little insecure and stuff like that. Because she's never going to be the size or be what Cole sees as being attractive like that. So she gets up from the table. She goes to talk to Matt about it, and Matt is just like, listen, we are the ones that are affected by this, by the conversation that those two had. He is supposed to be all about you. He shouldn't be all in Colleen's face telling her how attractive she is. And I feel like Colleen didn't respond in the correct way, because she definitely said, well, excuse me, I think you're attractive too. And when we get to the real world, it is what it is. Like, it's whatever. And Zay is like, wait, that's not what she just told me. And he was like, well, that's how I took it. That's how I heard it. And he's saying we did have a big old blow up and all that kind of stuff. And Zay admits her insecurities, like, this is why I don't feel like such and such and such. And Matt is like, but you are attractive. Like, don't let anything what this guy says or how he's acting, don't let that trick you into thinking that you are an attractive woman in your own right. You're just as attractive as Colleen. You're fine and you're gonna be okay. You're gonna get through this or whatever. He bigging her up for real. And next thing you know, we see they all get back together and they all sit down we see Alexa and Brennan standing and dancing and kissing each other. And then here comes other people that was in the pods with them, and the only one I don't recognize any of the females for real, but I definitely recognize Andrew. And they are like, wow. So Bart was just like, Andrew, so how did your proposal go? Like, what did you say? What did you do? And he was just telling them like, I told her I felt like we could build a real estate empire. We can raise kids together. We can have this and we can have that. And then Bart was like, "Wow, really?" And what did she say? She was like, "No, I love Bart. Like, get out of my face." And he was like, "No, for real." She just was like, honestly, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like something I would want, but I just don't see it working out long term for us." And she just let me down, and she got with you. And he just like, "Oh, okay, cool, all right." And next thing you know, we see them go and talk. Andrew and Nancy. This is the conversation we saw part of in the previews or the trailer. And they're talking, and he's like, "So how's it been? Like, how has it been since y'all came back? Been living with each other and all those things like that. Like, did you think of me at any point?" And she was like, basically, like, "No, things have been going good. I fucking love him. I don't regret my decision or anything. But to be honest," and she gets into it, she gets emotional, that she feels him distancing himself away from her. And it hurts when the person that you love, they aren't attracted to or don't love you as much as you love them. She was like, because he wants a tall, blonde, statuesque person. I'm none of those things, and I'm not going to change myself to be those things either. Like the blonde, you can do, but you can't grow and become taller and become statuesque. It's just not going to work. So Andrew was like, damn, like, wow. And he was like, well, it's going to be okay. Like, you feeling it right now, but it's going to be okay. And anyway, if you need anything, I'm always here with a listening ear. I'll listen to you. And she like thinks cool. She gets herself together, kind of like wipes her face. And Bart comes over and like, what's up? Like, what y'all over here talking about? I see both of y'all got smiles on your faces. He has no emotional intelligence because he don't even pay attention to the fact that this girl just finished wiping her face from crying about their situation. And all he's feeling is a bit of jealousy that she over here in the corner talking to Andrew. You know what I'm saying? You can clearly tell that she been drinking at this point because to me, Nancy's eyes look like I've been drinking. You know. Um, so but Andrew was like, "Is like we just having a conversation, just catching up. It's nothing for you to be worried about." And Bart's like, "Well, I need her to say there's nothing for me to worry about, then I'd be cool." And she was like, it's nothing for you to worry about. Everything's fine." And he kisses her on the lips and was like, "Okay, well, I'll let y'all get back to chit chatting or whatever and catching up." And he walks off. And it's like, so you really went over there to break that shit up. You just said in the confessionals you're not feeling her, you fell out of love with her already. But now you're going to go over there and break that shit up, right? Typical. Typical. So Matt pulls Colleen to the side to tell her about the conversation he just had with Zay. He told Zay exactly what um she said that Cole said to her. And the conversation between him and Zay got him all riled up again. And he was telling Colleen, like, listen, I'm not over that shit. Like, I know we tried to talk through it and everything, but I'm not over it. I'm still very much bothered by it. And with holding back tears, Colleen, like, are you gonna do this to me right now? I thought we worked through it. Like, I told you what he said and what I said. I thought we worked through this. I don't even want Cole. Like, I don't. Like, he can feel how he feels, but me personally, I don't want him. And Matt was like, I'm sorry. Like, that shit's still bothering me. I don't know. So then we see Bart sitting across from Alexa just having a conversation. And she tells Bart that her and Brennan had sex the first night. And it was cool, but she was like, it was cool. It was all right. But I like aggressive sex. Because he had asked her, so what you guys are going to do after this whole thing tonight? She was like, go home and have sex. We love to have sex. And then that's what she went into the whole first night. She was like, but I want him to be more aggressive. And like the second night there, it was okay again and stuff. But since we've been home from Malibu, it's been like I like it. It's been great. And he's just sitting there like, wow, he's wild by this conversation. Then we see Zay and Cole having a conversation off to themselves. And Zay's like, so I know what you said to Colleen. And Cole is looking like, okay, she is attractive. And honestly, I knew that me and you connected on an emotional level. I knew when I said, will you marry me to you? I knew by your name that you probably weren't going to look like the typical person I'd go for. And it didn't matter because I had an emotional connection with you and I wanted to get married to you. So she was like, I feel like you just, saying whatever right now. You're putting on the act. And he was like, this is not an act. So he goes down this whole diatribe about it and was like, I just can't believe you. And it almost kind of like what he's saying, it's almost like he's dismissing and gaslighting her or whatever. And she's just like, listen, you don't find me attractive. He was like, I never said that. You are very, very, very attractive. I am attracted to you. I was just letting you know that she's the typical kind of person that I would go for if I was just going based off what I normally see and go for on looks. He was like, but we don't have, it's superficial. Like her and I don't have the connection that you and I have. And she just like, it's given. She's like, it's fine. Like, if that's what you want, it's fine. And he was like, it's not fine though. He's still trying to talk through it or whatever. But it's looking like she giving up. She giving up on it. Alright, so Matt and Cole sit down across from each other and have a conversation about the conversation Cole and Colleen had. And Cole reassures him, like, listen, the conversation didn't go the way that you're thinking it went. It was just, we were just having plain talk. It was not a thing of, so you think this gonna work? You think it could work? Like if we start talking, it was not like that. So Matt is like, so exactly. She tells me, he was like, I didn't like the fact that you told her that she was attractive, and she said, yeah, and I think you're attractive too. And if you were to buy me a drink, it's it could be whatever. And he was like, whatever happens, happens. Cole was like, that's not what she said. She didn't say that. He was like, he said, I initiated the conversation. I opened the door because she asked me how Zenab and I were doing. And I expressed to her about the things I'm normally attracted to. And she asked, well, what are you normally attracted to? And he said, I was like, you. And she said, oh, well, I think you're cute too. And he said, but I think she was saying it in a way to appease me. It wasn't, I think you cute too, so what's up? It was nothing like that. So Matt is like, oh. So let me ask you a question, man to man. Should I have reservations about being with her and marrying her? Cole's like, absolutely not. You should not, because she's head over heels in love with you, man. Like she was not trying to get with me. I wasn't trying to get with her. I left that conversation and went back to Zay and felt the way I felt about Zay still, There's no connection like that with Colleen and I. So, Matt's like, you know what? I appreciate you being real with me. I felt like you being completely honest. And he was like, so, what's going to go on with you and Zay? Like, what's going on? And Cole's like, well, I don't even know, because after that, I mean, we did have a few issues, and then it's like we ironed them out. But then 30 minutes ago, after that conversation you and her had, she came back and she back on some stuff talking about she team Matt because she feels like both of you guys were offended by the conversation that Colleen and I had. So she's taking your side in all of this. And Matt is like, wow, like, that's not what I meant to happen. And to be honest, if you heard when Colleen told me the conversation y'all had, I heard those few sentences and I got irate and I shut down after that and I wasn't able to rationalize and hear everything else that she was saying when she was trying to let me know. So I apologize for that and I hope Zay can get past it and get, and give you another chance and realize that it wasn't like that or whatever. He was like, but I appreciate the sit down and the conversation about. So Nancy and Bart leave the event and end up back in the house in the apartment. And they are at the kitchen island and having a conversation. And he was like, so did I interrupt something between you and Andrew tonight? What is there something I need to know? Because you guys look super cozy and everything. And I felt like I had to come over there and break it up or whatever. And Nancy was being honest. She was like, actually, it got a little emotional, but not an emotional in the way that you think. She was like, I was just telling him like things have not been that great lately between us. Because you picked me, but you're giving me the energy that I'm not what you want. Like you aren't attracted to me. And I was just sharing that with him and like telling him how much I love you, but it's like you don't love me as much as I love you. Bart goes down this whole diatribe like fuck, like yes, I still love you and I think you are attractive, but looks play a part. Looks do matter and physical attraction or whatever. And I know the physical hasn't been there as much lately. And it's not just that that's bothering me. It's the other stuff like your ex is far more involved in your business than you let on in the beginning when we were in the parts talking. And I had to kind of like ask you some questions and peel the layers to get that information. Then the whole thing about how you feel about kids and abortion, that bothers me. Like, and that's a fundamental thing or issue I have. And so that all of those things and the other little problems we've been having here now, um, what's making me hold back from you. Like it's not just your looks, cause you are very attractive, and I know you can never be a tall, statuesque woman. I know that, a blonde woman. I know it, but it's the other little smaller things that's making me feel the way I feel, and I'm trying to work through that. I'm sorry, but you can't sit here and say that looks don't matter because looks do matter. And she was like, but I still love you regardless. Like looks didn't matter that much for me. I still love you, the person I started out with at the pods. And he was just still talking. Then he gets a phone call. He was like, it's Matt. He like, hey, what's up, Matt? You on speaker? Matt was like, where the fuck is Colleen? Bart's like, huh? And then Nancy was like, hey Nancy, hey Matt. She I think she went to Kendall or something like that. Candles or something she said. With the other girls or something. And he was like, what the fuck? Like she's supposed to be here with me. You know what, fuck it. I'm packing my shit and I'm fucking leaving. And then Bart picked up the phone and was like, no, 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 don't leave, dude. No, don't leave. I'm on my way to you now. So he just gets up and he runs down to the hall to their apartment. And Matt is, coming out the door and he lets Bart in and you can see the suitcases and stuff in the clothes. And Bart is like, yo, what's going on? He was like, we all was leaving the place. I said, I'm heading back to our place. She said, okay, I'm going to meet you there. I get back here and she's not fucking here. Like, it's a Wednesday night. It's 2:30 in the morning. That's not the type of woman I want that's going to be hanging out 2:30 in the morning with her friends and stuff on a Wednesday night, on a weeknight, dude. Like, that's not what I want. Bart was like, dude, calm down. So she, like, y'all going to talk about this in the morning and y'all going to work it out. It's going to be fine. Matt is like, I'm leaving. He was like, this is not something, I'm jealous of you, dude. You have what I want. You came out those pods and you saw her and you was like, this is the one for me. And he was like, and she said you the one for her. Like, Nancy really, Colleen really, really, really is into you, Matt. This is Bart saying this. She's into you. You guys can work through this. I wish I had what you guys have right now. We got a whole lot of shit to work through over there where I'm at. I would pay money to be in your position right now. You are basically, he telling him, you blowing this way out of proportion. It's not that deep. You don't have to be packing up to leave her because she went out. Like, it's something y'all could talk about, and both of y'all got some rights and wrongs in all of this. And y'all can, like, compromise and come to some resolution without having to say, it's over. And then the episode goes off. Bart. I like what you told Matt. But Bart. He told, and now I forgot to mention, Bart told Matt, you've been looking for reasons to leave this whole time. You keep blowing things up because you're trying to find a reason and give yourself reason to leave this whole thing behind and go on about your business. You've been looking for issues. And Matt was like, maybe I have. I said, shit. Matt gives me, he's really attracted to her. But man, I can see why the first wife didn't work out and why she might have did what she did. Because you have this thing built up in your mind of what a woman's supposed to be. And the moment she does something that you don't like, you blow up like this. And the things that you blowing up about is really not that deep. It's not. It's not that deep, man. And that's why your past relationship didn't work out. Because I'm sure that you was the same way towards her. And Bart. It's funny how we can see what's going on in somebody else's world. But not as, what is it? Before you try to remove the plank out of my eye, get the speck out. No, before you try to get the speck out of my eye, remove the plank from yours. And that's what it is in this situation for you, Bart. You, sir. You were all into Nancy until the moment y'all saw the other couples and you saw Raven. Now is you upset. Now, granted, I'm not even going to lie to you. I would be upset about the whole thing, like that she wasn't totally honest about her business relationship with her ex. Okay? That is a problem. You should be totally honest with me. But that whole, the abortion thing and the kids, like, I feel like that's not something that you should be blowing up like that. I feel like you are looking for ways to have to break up with her too, because you want to go out there and search for what it is that you really want. And to be honest, I'm going to let you know, according to her friends, Raven ain't going to be for you either, because Raven is used to a certain type of lifestyle, and at this moment in life, you can't afford it. Yes, physically you what she likes, but she said it herself. She don't feel like you have any emotional intelligence. To be honest, she feel like she had a deeper connection with SK. He has more emotional intelligence. But I also feel like SK wants some sucker-ish in the sense that he going through this with the rose-colored glasses and not seeing Raven for her works either. Ooh. What y'all think of this episode, y'all? Also, did y'all see what Lauren said? Lauren Speed from the first season? Remember I said I didn't like the fact that what happened to all the black people that we saw in the pods? The brown-skinned women? Women with melanin like Lauren's? They ain't following their stories. And Lauren said something on Twitter about the same thing. What's up with that? So, get in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Did y'all see Lauren's post? Did you see Lauren's tweet? How are you feeling about the show and the couples thus far? And with that, don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons and get in the comments and tell me how you feel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.